Raymond Chow was a sleuth, the film producer who had established himself after breaking away from Shaw's in 1970 and establishing Golden Harvest Studios, has stumbled upon two men who would set his studio in the upward trajectory that probably without their assistance he couldn't do it. Jimmy Wang Yu and Bruce Lee. First, it was Jimmy Wang Yu, whom he was able to sign after Wang Yu had had issues with Shaw Brothers Studios. And when you think about it, The One-Armed Boxer, which was produced in 1972 by Golden Harvest, was a film that had taken roles that Jimmy had played with characters, the one-armed swordsman and the Chinese boxer, and combined them. But it was Bruce Lee who had joined the studio and had made the film The Big Boss in 1971, and then later Fist of Fury, that really catapulted the studio ahead with Lee's portrayal of an avenging student in the film. Now, what separated the two men were not only just their style of performing in front of the camera, both having machismo and that male magnetism that audiences enjoyed, but the virile nuts and guts warriors that were played by Jimmy Wang Yu. They established him as a man who was a lone gunsman type fighter in wuxia and martial art films. For Bruce Lee, it became something totally different because he was an actor who had brought some of his U.S. Western influence experiences to his roles. But the two men did not really care for one another. Lee thought that Jimmy Wang Yu represented everything that was bad about Hong Kong films. Along with the director Lo Wei, Jimmy Wang Yu felt that Lee didn't really know much about anything and he was just a former child star. So there was a rivalry between the two, and Chow utilized this to his advantage. When he wanted to make certain films that Lee didn't want to be a part of, he would throw the scripts at Jimmy Wang Yu, such as A Man Called Tiger in 1973, a film that Lee was presented after the success of Fist of Fury. He didn't want to work with Lo Wei anymore, so the film was passed on to Jimmy Wang Yu, who readily accepted that and felt that he could make something of the character and the film himself. Also later, after Lee had passed, a script that was meant for Lee originally, The Man from Hong Kong, which was released in 1975, saw Jimmy Wang Yu once again filling a role that was meant for Lee as a more international character that audiences could enjoy the world over. When these men were in the presence of one another, they really had a bit of a hostility and a low tolerance for one another, and it was something that everyone could see. But it would have been amazing to see them come together and do a production where either of them were a hero chasing a tight villain or vice versa. And I do believe that would have been the coup for Golden Harvest had Lee lived beyond 1973. Overall, the two men and their contributions to the industry have been tremendous. Jimmy Wang Yu does not get the credit that he deserves for his filmography, 83 films under his belt, with the development of Directorial, 10 films. He wrote 5, and he was the producer of over 14 films. When you talk about Bruce Lee and what he accomplished in just 3 years with Golden Harvest Studios, not only did he make 4 films for Golden Harvest, but he was the director of 2, a writer of 2, producer of 2, and he was the martial art director for 3 of the films that he had dealing with Golden Harvest. Overall, these 2 men were so prominent in the early 70s that there is something about what they contributed to the industry, and we'll always remember them for their works. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts about a possible team-up between Bruce Lee and Jimmy Wang Yu and what it would have been. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.